Today we're building the landslide, so if you enjoy this build, why not leave it a like and a comment down below, and let's jump into the build. Hello everyone, Auvbri here, and welcome back to another speed build in The Sims 4. So today we are building a build that I have been wanting to do for such a long time. And you might be asking, why haven't you done it before? Honestly, just because I found this build to be a bit intimidating and overwhelming, to say the least. It is a very huge build. So the build itself contains 3 bedrooms, 1 office area, a big kitchen dining room, living room space, and of course all of the things outside that you're watching me do right now. So the whole thing about this build, why is it called landslide? So I was looking at pictures on Google, because that is a great way to get inspiration, and I was just searching. I can't remember what exactly I searched, but I was searching something along the lines of a build going semi into the ground, and it kept showing the same picture, and when I clicked on the picture, it said that this build was called landslide, and I thought that was a kind of curious name for a house. But looking at it now, it kind of does look like it's sliding down into the ground. And since we don't have any terrain editing in The Sims 4, I had to figure out a way to work around that. And that's basically why I haven't done this build until now, because I was kind of intimidated at how to make this look as realistic as possible. But I do think in the end that it turned out to be a really cool looking build. I mean, it definitely has that vibe of landsliding thing, so you can kind of see the house go into the ground again, and kind of sliding down into the ground, and I think that's such a cool idea. And I don't know, there's just something about building in the basement level. It's really hard, but if you get it right, it really does look amazing. So that's what we are gonna do today. As I've been rambling on, you've kind of seen me done the basic build. So in the picture I had, I actually would have had to have another level in the basement, but since we can only go 2 levels down, I had to improvise and have the top of the build being just 2 plain boxes, which there's nothing in them, but it's just for purely aesthetics, because the underground levels of the house is just so big that I didn't really feel like I needed to furnish those, and I honestly had no idea what I was gonna do with those upstairs boxes. So yeah, one thing I totally noticed in the intro just now, for some reason, a part of the what is it called, the wall in the front has missing elements of the wallpaper. So you yeah, I know it's so unprofessional, but you have to fill that in yourself if you decide to get this build, because I don't know why it's just gone. I mean, I'm sure I've painted it in a lot of times, but, you know, if you edit something in the basement level, it kind of edits everything. So, again, that's why it's really hard to work in the basement level, because you're working in an area that's not supposed to be used this way. Especially not opened up like this. So, yeah, you just have to put in those basement or those wallpapers yourself. It's really easy, just copy it and paste it in. Really simple. So we're working on the landscaping here, and this is definitely going to be the biggest part of this build. at least in the first half of the build here. So I wanted to have a really natural looking build in the aspect that we needed it to kind of blend in with the surroundings once we started doing the landscaping and having this landslide effect. So the way that I accomplished that is by throwing in a lot of plants, and we're gonna also have a lot of stonework outside as well. And the whole idea is to create a like natural hill effect that we wouldn't otherwise be able to have in The Sims 4. So I'm just working on the layout of the build here. And honestly, it's a really big house. I mean, I didn't intend for it to get this big. It just turned out big, which I honestly do have to appreciate, because I think it turned out to be a very nice build. I mean, it's definitely one of my favorites ones I've done, and that is mostly due to the landscaping outside as well. I know I said in the last builds that I was kind of running out of ideas, and that's very much still the case. But I'm trying to push myself into doing something different, and if you guys have any ideas, definitely hit me up on Twitter with pictures, comments. Yeah, comment down below if you have any ideas. I will love to hear them, so we can kind of grow this channel together. But you kind of see me done what will start to be the hill effect of the build. So I had to create these hillsides here. I started by doing some rocks just to kind of try to make the landscape a bit more smooth. We are gonna accomplish this hill effect, or this like swooping hill down effect, with some different techniques, very bad English, with some different techniques I have learned over the years by experimenting myself. I've done a lot of underground builds, but also just by, you know, watching other Sims builders here on YouTube. And I do have to say, I really do think that that is a great way for people to learn, and that's probably why a lot of you is watching as well, to kind of get inspiration and learn. And that is the greatest way to grow, is to learn, not downright copy people, but to learn tips and tricks on how to get better. So what I was doing here is a mixture of the stonework. We have some hanging plants for the walls, some ivy and stuff like that, to kind of create the illusion that there is no wall behind it, but it's more like a real hill swooping effect. And then lots of plants just to kind of fill in the gaps, make it look somewhat more realistic. We're doing it here as well, in between the two parts of the build here, just to still have the emphasis of the hill effect here. And we're gonna continue doing that on the other side. But as you can see already, I do think that it looks really good. I mean, I'm honestly pleasantly surprised at how good it turned out. Here I was looking for some blue yeah, this is gonna sound weird, but in the corner here I was just feeling that it was looking a bit bare, and since we couldn't go any deeper in the basement than we already were, so we couldn't place a pool, we couldn't like place anything major like that, so I was trying to look for something that would resemble water, like a flooring tile or something like that. And we're gonna actually ended up changing it a couple of times in the end, just because I did not like how it looked. But I think it turned out really good in the end. So because we had all of this space in the back here, which is technically the back of the house. This is the back of the house. The front of the house is all you can see is the driveway, and there's two boxes, which really contains nothing. But I just thought that in the back of the house, it just needed like that extra wow effect. And since all of the windows of the build is actually turning backwards and into the backyard, we needed something pretty to look at. Here I'm just landscaping again, trying to like fit everything in, make it look real nice and kind of like that aspect of a hill. And I do have to say, I'm gonna say this a lot, but I think it turned out so good. I'm so happy about how it turned out. I do have to say it's definitely one of my favorite builds I've done lately. So super excited about that. Just working on the backyard here. So let's get into it again. I wanted to have a kind of lake thing happening here. So I decided to create this multi-layered lake, which had like some small waterfalls and stuff like that. We are gonna change this floor tile to something that looks a bit better, a bit more realistic to what we actually want it to look like, because I don't know, now it just looks so fake, and this is something that really makes no sense to me. Why would you make a floor tile that looks exactly like grass but have nothing in the game that resembles water? That is just so weird to me, especially when they know that a lot of us have to terrain edit ourselves by cheating the game, like I'm doing here. We have to manipulate the game into looking like something it's not supposed to look like we did with the hills that we created on either side of the house. So I really wish that they would add some sort of floor tile that would resemble the water effect that we have on top of the pools here. That could be so cool. But I just took, I believe they were from the spa day, maybe. It's kind of like these walls that has water swooping down from it. I used those with some fountain tools to create the illusion of a waterfall here. I mean, it's the best thing you can do in the game. Again, no terrain editing, but I do think, and I've done this a couple of times, I ended up not putting in so many so many fountain tools and sprinklers and stuff like that, just because at this point my game was actually starting to lag a bit, and I have a really good computer. I mean, I built it myself, and I know it's way more than capable of handling The Sims, and it was starting to starting to show that, okay dude, there's so many items here. And just imagine all of the plants alone, how many items I really do have in this build at the moment. And we haven't even started furnishing the build yet. We're still doing landscaping, but yeah, tell me down below, what do you think about the landscaping at this point? Because I think it's on point. It's definitely some of the best landscaping I have done. And you guys know me. Landscaping, in my mind, is not my strong suit, but I do have to say that I think this turned out so nice. So now we finally started to going inside to the build. Initially, I only wanted to have windows facing out towards the backyard of the build, but I just thought that having these smaller windows on the side would bring in somewhat more natural light, and they're kind of hidden away, so you don't really notice them that much. We also used a small window in the basement. I'm gonna call that basement because for me this is the ground level of the build, but we're gonna use those in the basement where we have the toilets as well, because all of the bedrooms is facing outwards with the big windows. So yeah, we also have two entrances into this build. The one entrance leads into the living room here. It's not the biggest living room space because I had to have a space where we could fit in a big staircase. I wanted it to be a staircase that had 2 squares width instead of just one, because I just think it looks better. It opens up the space a bit more, makes it look a bit more realistic. And inside of the build here, I was trying to go for wallpapers that had like the same nature turns as we were building with outside. So every single room except for the bathrooms, which also has like nature tones. It's more like a clear stone, but it's definitely more nature vibes. But the inside here, the wallpapers actually match the outside. So we use the same wallpapers and the same stone that is used outside, just to kind of tie everything together. Because as much as this is a modern home, I still wanted it to feel eco-friendly. Because if you build, in my mind, if you build a house like this, it's because you have somewhat of a eco-friendly vibe in mind. And I feel like building on the ground is very beneficial, especially for the house owners, but also for heat. And building underground is just, I can't remember. I saw like a program, I believe it was on Netflix, or like we have other streaming services here in Denmark as well. But just the benefits of building into the ground. I believe it was Big Grand Designs or something like that. It's definitely on Netflix. But they kept saying that the reason that they were built into the ground was because of the benefits of the heat and the sun and all that kind of stuff, electricity. So in my mind, that kind of goes together. Building underground is because you have an eco-friendly mind. So that was kind of the thing I was trying to do here. I was also trying to do something different with the kitchen here. So we used a dining table and kind of connected that to the rest of the kitchen, just to kind of create something different. And it's something that I used to do right when I was beginning to get into building on YouTube. I don't know why I stopped, but yeah, I definitely like it. It's something different, and it's actually something that you see in a lot of like older modern kitchens. And then I was just throwing in like these bar tables, stools at the side, just to kind of create like this illusion that it's where you can eat. Of course, it's not usable, but you could use it if you want. Can we just talk about real quick those lamps from the fitness stuff? Amazing. I bought the fitness stuff pack because I like the furniture, not because I wanted the gameplay aspect, like the climbing wall that spews fire or whatever. I bought it because I thought that there was a lot of very nice looking items. And yeah, I know that's like a super builder thing to say, but I really did enjoy the items. So I was like, okay, I can spend like $12 on this. I believe it's like 10 or $12 if you convert it from crowns into dollars or pounds or whatever, euros. But yeah, these items, I've actually used quite a lot of them in this build, just because I haven't actually used that much of them since I got the pack. I used a bit in the apartment complex build, which I did a little while back, but otherwise I haven't actually used that much of it. So I really wanted to use some of the items in this build as well. Downstairs, we are building the laundry room at the moment, and as you can probably tell, there's a lot of space down here that I didn't plan on using, but I kept like expanding a bit and stretching it a bit so we had more room, just because there were so many rooms that I wanted to do down here, and I wanted this to be a big house. So as I said in the beginning as well, there is 3 bedrooms in this build. There's 2 bathrooms. There is an office area. We have several little areas like this where you can just sit down with a book or whatever. So there is a lot of space in this build, and you can definitely build more rooms if you so desire to. There's plenty of room in the back of the basement, which I did not use. So just keep that in mind. I didn't actually do any particular room as a master bedroom. There is one room, the last bedroom that we do, which is probably more to the guest bedroom aspect of it, but I didn't do a particular master bedroom. I wanted to have, in this bedroom, I wanted to have a gallery wall, and which, if you don't know what that is, it's just a bunch of different items chucked onto the wall to create like this kind of cohesive experience. And I thought just like blending paintings with posters, it was just something different, and I actually really did enjoy how that turned out. So yeah, this room, initially I wasn't gonna have a office area in this build, but this room was just somewhat to the smaller side, so I just decided to make it an office area. We have a lot of bookcases and stuff in here as well. And of course, once you're gonna see the screenshots, this is the first place my Sims or my sim went, because there is a curse with the sim world that if there is a computer, your sim will automatically get attracted to it, and there's nothing else they want to do ever. They will even abandon tasks you ask of them to use the computer. So that's nice, isn't it? Yeah, building another bedroom here. Again, I was going for the blue colors just because it was a way to break up all of the wooden colors that we had in the rooms. This is a smaller bedroom, so if you were to choose a master bedroom, it would probably be the first one. This is the last bedroom we're going to do here before we actually jump into the screenshots. And I would say that this is probably more of the guest bedroom type. There's not a lot of room in here. I couldn't actually figure out how to fit in a dresser, so there's no dresser in this room, but I mean, it looks nice, and the orange color was something different. But yeah, let's jump into the screenshots real quick here. So here we have the screenshots. So this is right when you walk into the build. There's a lot of screenshots to go through here, so let's just talk about it here. Remember, if you want to get this build, it is on the gallery right now. So if you want to get this build, just search my origin ID, which is Auvbri, or hashtag Auvbri. You can also try that. You should be able to find every single build that I do, and why not follow me on the gallery while you are there. I usually upload my builds right when I'm done with them. So if I, for example, were to upload this to YouTube today, I might have finished the build 2 days ago. So you can get the build earlier than everybody else if you do that. And yeah, tell me down below what you think about the builds. Do you like it? Is there something you don't like? Let's start a conversation. I really want to know. I love interacting with you guys. And even though I don't answer every single comment that I get, because there is a lot of comments, I do read every single one of them. And yeah, let's start a conversation. I really want to hear your thoughts on this build. What do you think about the landslide builds? As we look at the last screenshots of the inside, we go outside. Here's just kind of an upstairs view, and as you can see, it's a very big lot with a lot happening on it. But the build itself is actually also quite large. I mean, we have a lot of rooms in a space, and it doesn't look that big because we built into the ground and it's underneath everything. And here you can kind of see where you need to fill in the wallpaper. I have no idea why why that half wall just decided not to be wallpapered anymore. I mean, I can see the inside of it is wallpapered, so yeah, I guess it's just one of those things that can happen, but it shouldn't be a big deal. From the front here, doesn't look the most exciting, but I do believe that the hill aspect of the build really came through, and I think it looks so good. I mean, it turned out so beyond my expectations, so I'm super happy about that. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, why not leave it a like and subscribe to this channel. If you find something you like, why not check out some of my other videos. You might find even more things you like. And there's nothing else for me to say other than have a truly fantastic day wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you next time for another video. Bye!